Hello, Amlen fans out there. This is Danny showing you how to get started with Eclipse Amlen on this time is on Red Hat Linux server, Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 7. First thing, let's see download documentation about this. Maybe it'll be a good idea to open this in a tab. Okay, and let's have a look on the system requirements. You can see here that you can provision on a server on VMware, soft layer bare metal if that is needed, Amazon, and Microsoft Azure as well. The hardware requirements, we have 16 gigabytes of memory, 1 gigabyte network speed, at least 4 cores on the CPU, a disk store on 64 gigabytes. This is the 4 times the memory that is allocated in the system. Then for the web UI, we have 4 gigabytes and 16 gigabytes disk space. So the overall system will be like 20 gigabytes of memory and 80 gigabytes of disk space. There are other information around here that VMware ESX version 5 or higher is supported. This is very important. Make sure you resolve all guest memory or lock checkbox to avoid the memory ballooning. This will cause performance issues if that is not done. And for this session, we'll be doing an RPM install with with the root user. Let's see what else we need to do. We would need to redirect the course. In case of a crash, it will be nice to have this pattern, this core pattern, just to have a good idea when some troubleshooting is done. But instead of providing the legacy path var site diag course path, I will use root, Amlen, and diag course. So let's do that first. Going to open myself a terminal here. Okay, and just copying this. Okay, doing a paste. It took me the paste, but no worries. This will be changed, and we can check afterwards. So is Amlen diag course BTE okay, and let's do an echo on CAT actually on Procore just to make sure we have the right information in there. Okay, there it is. We're good. And next, we need to edit the limits conf file and set the softcore and the hardcore on unlimited. Let me do that just now. Doing a vim on that. Okay. Going to the end of file, and let me just make sure I'm copying the right information in here. I am. Good. Okay. Saving this. Perfect. Okay. Just to make sure I'm in here with the right user. Okay, I am. Good. And now let's proceed with the download of the tarbos that we need. So we are right now we are on a version version 1. Okay, let me just go here. Okay, clicking on download. Okay, and do the same for the web UI. In this case, we'll be installing the both server and UI components on the same server. What you can do as a best practice would be to uh, have them separate. And for instance, for the web UI, you can have a single installation, a single instance of web UI, or web UI, from where you can just manage all the Amlen servers that you have out there. Something like want to roll them all. Okay, I will go in here and create a new directory. I'll call this Amlen kits, just to know where to find it. Okay, and additionally, I will create a new directory called server, and one web UI. Why is the reason I'm proceeding like that? You will find out right the way, right after we untard this. Okay, we're good now. Let me change that to Amlen kits. Go into the server and do the untar in here on it's with capital Eclipse, of course. Now I can explain why this. You see the content of the archive of the tarball is a Docker file, the RPM file, and the IMA server file. Now, the web UI will contain similar files with the same name, meaning the Docker file and the IMA server docker.env file. Only the RPM will differ. So if I would extract both in here, the Docker file and IMA server Docker and file will be overwritten with the settings required by the web UI, and we actually don't want to do that, and that is the reason why we should use two directories in this case. Now, doing the installation, it should be pretty simple. Just run yum install dash y and the Eclipse. Wait with me. Takes some time to find it. Okay, let's wait for this one to finish. Okay, let's enable now the service systemctl enable. It has the legacy name, so you should use IMA server as the service. Okay, and let's start it. Start server. Okay, let's check if everything is all right. Okay, it's up and running. Now let's move next to the web UI. Again, let's untar it. As you can see here, as in case of the server, we have a Docker file and I'm on web-wide Docker. So pretty much the Docker file will be the one that is overwritten, right? Because in the server name, in the server case, we have an I'm a server Docker env file. So we need to be careful not to extract the web UI and the server in the same place just to avoid for the Docker file to be overwritten. Proceeding with the same installation command, but this time with the web UI RPM. It should be fast enough. Perfect. Now let's start it. Actually enabled it first. And this one is using the same IMA web UI legacy name and going to start it. The IMA web UI it's a bit slow, so we have to wait a bit. Now let's check if this started correctly. All good, perfect. Now let's see how we can access the web UI. So we're just going to HTTPS over localhost on port 9087. That is the port on which the web UI is listening, and accepting the self-signed certificates exceptions here. Going on login with the default settings that are admin and admin. For the server to connect, the server is installed locally, so I'll actually use the loopback IP on port 9089. Demo on RedHat 7, just to know about it. You would need first to do a test of connection. This will bring up this this error, which actually helps you to click right here, open this in the new tab, accept the server certificates, self-signed certificates, and this way we can also check that everything started and works correctly. And after you do that, if you do a test connection again, you will see that the connection is successful this time. Now go and save and manage. And the web UI should connect to the server right away. And as you can see, everything looks good, and the server is now ready to accept connections. That will be all. I hope you enjoyed this and you will find it useful to get you started with Amlen Eclipse. Thank you.